Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with another episode of Free Pattern Friday. Yay! Free Pattern Friday. I love Free Pattern Fridays. I've been retired for 10 years, and I always loved Fridays when I was working. Well, I get to, not working, but I get to play, and I get to give away free patterns on Friday. I also give them away on Mondays and Wednesdays too, but everybody likes Free Pattern Fridays for some reason. So today we're going to do a quick little old-fashioned block called Airflight, and it's been known as several different names over the years. So basically it's all your half square triangles, and I do have a couple of tips for half square triangles. Now the cutting instructions for this block are going to be in the show notes. It's so important you get into those show notes, and you only need a color and a low volume. So this lends itself to being really scrappy and really great. It's a perfect little scrap buster, and it's also a really good leader and ender because you're only dealing with half square triangles. But first, let's get to our shout out. Now, I searched around this YouTube channel for a while, and I could not find a first name. But that happens, you know. It's like that. Maybe I'm blind or deaf or something. I don't know. But I couldn't find it, so I figured. But it's a cute voice. It's a lovely little voice, and you guys got to go check them out. And it is called the Quilters Candy Shoppe. Now, the YouTube link is going to be in the show notes below, but it is a lovely little voice, a lovely cute voice. So, and in YouTube, there's room for all of the voices, so this is when you should go check. Now, if you like what you see when you're there, hit that subscribe button of hers and tell her that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. Because they don't know where this is coming to them. So yeah, it's kind of fun. Also too, if you haven't subscribed or hit that like button for us, please do so, because we'd be happy to have you as a subscriber, and it would help us along to keep giving you free patterns. So this is kind of a fun thing that we're doing for other YouTubers as well. Also, okay, now the show notes are important because you get all sorts of stuff that we get now. The Facebook group is growing rapidly. We're warm and welcoming. We have so many community chats. We do fabric swaps by country. We have a sewing room under Discord, and the people that are gathering, they're actually becoming friends with each other because we're just having so much fun. We also do the same things other Facebook groups do by, you know, showing quilts, asking for advice, you know, putting up quilting jokes. I mean, it's a lot of fun that we're having in there. So if you're part of that Facebook community and you want to come join us, please do, because we are having a blast. Also, the Zoom sew dates are in the show notes. Now, I don't know when this one will be aired, but they're from now until December, because we're doing this at the beginning of November. We're filming at the beginning of November. But we're, you know, once I get a chance to look at 2025 calendar, I will start putting in those dates, and you will have all of those dates ahead of time so that you can mark them on your calendar and come bring something. And bring something that is inspiring you, not something I've showed you necessarily. Bring something that you're having fun with, and you know, you can show other people what you're doing too. I do try to talk to everybody, and I do try to find out what everybody's working on, so it's a lot of fun those days. I also try and bring easier stuff so I get to talk to everybody. And sometimes the conversation is going along so well, I don't get a chance to say anything, but that's fine. I'm still having fun, and I'm getting stuff done. Also, what is it there? If there's somebody you want us to do a shout out for, please message us or put it into the Facebook group or email us. Now, the email address you're going to find on the About tab. That would be really nice for you guys to do, because I mean, if I'm looking, I'm only going to find the stuff that YouTube tells me that, oh yeah, you might be interested in this. But if there's something you see that somebody else is doing, I might want to be interested into them and give them a shout out as well. Also, the Chaos Sew Along. No, we have not set a date yet, but it will be sometime in January when it starts. The subunits are larger. They're 4.5 inches unfinished, or 4.5 by 8.5 inches unfinished. So you need larger scraps, but it's a good scrap buster, and you only need to make 16 blocks to make a full queen size quilt. And it's a really eclectic. I'm very proud of this pattern. It's it took a while to figure out, and you know, I thought, okay, we'll do this now, and we've got all the pieces ready, and it's a great one for you guys to do. Plus it will help you learn some skills, and there's no real hard blocks in there, guys. No real hard blocks at all. Also, I speak for free to quilting groups and quilting guilds, so if your guild or a group wants to hear about elements of design, working with your fabric scraps, making charity quilts, and you know, I'll do my best to accommodate them and make sure that they get on my my speaking roster, because I get inspired from them as well. Hopefully I get to stay for show and tell. Life is busy here too, right? But I also get the chance to talk with other quilters. And that's my way of giving back to the community, is that they get a free speaker, but those people that are in those groups and guilds are very, very talented. So I'm always like, oh wow, you know, it was really fun talking to them. But I think that's it. So come on in. We'll get to the sewing here of airflight. Hey, we're at the sewing machine, and funny story, when I was cutting this, I thought, oh, I picked fabric that was enough. And it wasn't, so we're improvising with our scraps. Yes, it's doable. Now, I cut all of these, as you can tell. I cut mine with my easy angle ruler because one of the tips is already cut. But I did give you the cutting instructions for the traditional method. And it's, you know, it is what it is. I really prefer these. These triangles, and once you're finished sewing them, have to be trimmed to 6.5 inches square, and these have to be 3.5 inches square. So that's kind of important. Now, when you're doing triangles, you get that tip in as quick, as close to the needle as you can. You know, and sometimes people lift up here in the back. Yes, that's important to do that. And you want a good 1/4 inch seam. Don't want any wobbly nonsense. There. Okay, now I'm just going to put the next one on right up there. Now I also stitch with my stitch plate with the little hole. So if your sewing machine has 2 stitch plates, one will be the mouth and one will be a tiny hole. Pick the tiny hole, because that's not going to suck down your half square triangles, because a lot of people complain about that. They hate doing half square triangles because of all of the nonsense they have to do with it afterwards. Why is this all twisting? Okay, there we go. Ugh. What happened? Oh, okay, well that wasn't good. I will have to re-sew this one. Okay, so again, and you lift it up just to make sure you get right in there. And I have to re-sew the very tip of this. Oops, I just cut off my tip. Okay, I just have to re-sew this very tip. It came out. The fabric came out, which is bizarre. But anyways, so there. There we go. There we go. We'll take this and this. There. Yeah, when it puckered and it took all my stitching out the ends, which is like weird. Maybe the tension on the... I probably need to oil it or something. I need to, I just had it cleaned. My husband took it and had it cleaned. We got it, you know, blown out, or not blown, sucked all the dust out. As much of the dust as we could. We did our monthly maintenance on it. There we go. And this other one here, I'm gonna let that one right in there. It starts to stitch. Yeah, those are 2 big things. Is your stitch plate with the hole is kind of important, because that's really going to prevent that sucking down right? Because a lot of people complain they hate doing half square triangles because the machine's always eating them. You know. Yes, I know what that's like. Okay, there we go. Well, now it's not doing it. I have no idea what's going on with this machine. Maybe this machine needs a vacation. Hey, you need a vacation, my dear little 301. Hey? Okay, there we go. Oh. And every once in a while, that will happen. Okay, now, this is something else, too, that people say, you know, all of a sudden, something will go wrong. Of course it's going to go wrong. It can, that's why it's going wrong. Now, I'm just going to pull this out, and what happened is it got caught and it bunched up. So now when I put the foot down, it's going to sew fine. But in the meantime, it sewed a bunch of places the same place. Here, I'll just get this off for you, and you can see what it's done. There. What it's done, I have green thread in the bobbin, a real pale green. So can you see that? There, right there, that's where it bunched up, but that's, you know, it's fine. It's like, okay, well, whatever. We bunched up, we had a little hissy fit, and we're moving again. That's all good. So, now before I press these open, I'm going to trim my dog ear on the other side. If you're using the traditional method, you have 2 dog ears. Now, I trim a little deeper in. That's just the way I was taught, because you reduce bulk and where all of that's going to meet. Okay? There we go. And we'll do the same with the other ones. There. And there. There. I dance twice with this fabric, doing this block. I dance every time I get rid of a piece of scrap fabric. So I danced twice. I decided, okay, yeah, we're going to dance twice on this. Because I got rid of this darker one, and I got rid of all of this. I was like, yay. Because I hate to tell you how long some of this stuff has been sitting. Okay, finger press to the dark, or press to the dark. And when you're finger pressing, don't just scratch where that seam is. Don't get too rambunctious in there. Don't, you know, because otherwise it's going to look a little, you know, not very good. Okay, so we're going to put this one here and this one here. Oops, there, we'll get those. So you can kind of start to see how this is going to come together. And I'm just going to do this here, right quick. Now, you want all of your stuff pointing the same direction. All the darks, or all the color, is going to point the same direction. You're not going to have them pointing in opposite directions. Okay, and, oops. That out of the way. Put this out of the way. Here we go. Now, this is how you mix stuff when you don't have quite enough fabric. Okay, I'll show you here. Just a sec. Just like that. You alternate them and you make them cross the block. Because then they look, at least they look unified now, right? Like it looks like you meant to do that. Actually, I ran out of material, but that's okay. I picked material that I thought I had enough, and when I started cutting, I went, oh, I don't. Oh dear. Oh no, I don't have enough. But that's okay. So this is our block. And yes, they're all pointing, all the color is pointing one direction, and all the low volume is pointing this way, right? And this odd piece, just so you know you can do this. If you run out and you only have, you know, like you can make a line across your quilt block, it looks like it was intentional, right? But you and I both know that it wasn't, so we won't tell anybody. So the first thing we're going to do, is going to make our 4 patches. Now we could easily turn this into pinwheels if we wanted, and we could have pointed both of these into the inside. So there's lots of variations you can make with this, but I really liked this look because it looked like a flock of Canada snow geese taken off, right? You know, and it's just, it was kind of like, all right, I know, it's kind of a Canadian thing, I guess. We love our snow, or Canada goose, and this is one of those things. Yes, I'm Canadian. And we're just going to sew them very quickly together. They sew together like a 4 patch. Now, if you think of this block, the simpler version of this block is a 4 patch within a 4 patch, where you have 2 4 patches together with, and then you put them all together in one big 4 patch. That's basically what this is, except you're using passcode triangles, right? There. Now you would have to square. If you're using the traditional method, you must square up before, you know, make sure that you measured and trimmed everything well before you start sewing. And this is that advantage of that easy angle ruler, because I end up with a perfect, and I mean perfect, 3.5 inch square. So now I'm going to cut 2 off, and I'm going to open them both up. I'm going to flip one this way, and I'm going to flip the other one this way, right? So let's see, one is going this way and one is going that way. Yep. Okay, so now I line it up. Okay, and I get in there and I cut the center. So again, I pressed to the dark so that I'm, you know, I've pressed it in opposite direction, so the center is going to nest. And if I maneuver where the X marks the spot, I will get a perfect center. Okay. Now, let's show you on this one. Okay. So, one goes one way. Okay, one goes one way, and this goes up. And this one goes down. Okay, like this, right? So now they're oriented the same way. Now, let me get my pencil. Where'd my pencil go? I'll show you with I'll mark it with my pencil. I won't. Okay, here it is. Oh, here's my pencil. Okay, so right here, that X, right there, X marks the spot. Oops. Right there. Now you want to stay on this side of the X, not on this side. So that X is going to give you those perfect points. Okay, and we'll just put that down. And add a real crisp look to your block too. Okay, so now I'm going to nest and sew. And again, you can steer so you're on the right side of that point. And then I am just right perfect. And now I'm going to match up my other sides. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing. Okay. So now I'm going to open this up and I'm going to pop my corner, right? Pop the center. And there is my very flat, wait a minute here, hang on. My very flat, perfect center is right there. So let's line this one up this way and get this other leader ender. I have buckets of these little yellow and white triangles. Yeah, I know. Now this is the one I showed you that I marked. Now we're going to spin our seam, right? So we're going to take it and we're just going to pop it open like that, just like that, you know. Roll it one direction. Now if you have to open it up and see where all your seams are going, you know, and you just spin it that way. You're not looking at these, you can look at these seams, but you're not looking at these ones. You're looking at all of the seams going this way, right? Going in a circle, and there's your center, right? So you've got a perfectly sharp center that's going to look absolutely fabulous. Now, this comes together just like a 4 patch, right? So you're going to put this down first, Okay. And we're going to match up we're going to take our time matching up the top. Right, top to the bottom, and then the bottom. There we go. And the same thing here. I'm just going to match that up. Okay. And a lot of this too, you can feel, like, I can feel whether my seams are going the wrong way just by touching them with my finger, right? I know that sounds kind of like, you know, mystic or whatever, but it does work. Like, the more of this that you do, the better you get at it, and the easier this comes, right? So let me get this leader ender off and thrown onto the pile of little leader enders. Okay, so we're going to open this up. We're going to check, making sure all the dark is pointing. Oh, I sewed these on wrong. Oh! Oh no. Okay, let's pick this apart. Let's pick it all apart because somebody has sewed them wrong. It's this one that's sewn wrong. Because this one and this one are right, so this one's sewn on wrong. Let me just get my stitch ripper. You know what? This was bound to happen at some point, and it's okay. You know, it's okay that we have to rip out points. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can pick them out very, very slowly. Now, I have set my stitch length to about 20 to 25 stitches per inch, so mine are pretty, you know, pretty tiny. You can also rip a little bit, and, you know, rip a little bit more. And, like, don't apply pressure to rip the whole thing apart because you'll rip a hole. And you rip down to the seams, and you rip a little bit past the seam, and then you go back to a more aggressive peeling away. And sometimes it just, you know, no, I'm not going to peel too far. And you just get in there. Now, the other way people do is they put the ball inside the work like so. They take the ball and they put it in and they push along. I never got good at it, so I hate to show people that, but it does work. And you know, you just have to take your time, and your stitch ripper has to be really sharp, you know, so don't be too aggressive with it, right? You know, but yeah, everybody makes mistakes, and you need to know how to fix them. The other way was to pull the thread from the other side. But because I'm sewing with such a small stitch, right? Because that's the kind of thing I like to do, right? Okay, now that's going there. And this, and you just take the time to pluck all this extra thread out, this broken and ripped out thread. Otherwise you'll be poking it out of a stitch seam. But that's okay. That's okay. And don't be hard on yourself when you do this. I mean, I hope to make mistakes so I can show you guys how to fix them, right? But that's me. Okay, so this is the way it's supposed to go. Okay, let me do this again. I'll get this figured out. Okay, so we line it up, line up the top. Yes, you line up the top. Everybody does this. Okay, here we go. Line up the top. There. And I'm just going to keep my stitch ripper handy just because it might be one of those days. You know. It's okay. It's one of those days. Okay, I get this. Now. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're laying it out like this, right? So now we're going to take it and sew this just like a 4-patch. And I'm going to take our time and match that up at the top. We don't have any centers. So it wants to push the seam this way. So we're going to let it. We're going to let it push because there's more seams here. So we're just going to push this down, right? So it lies nice and flat down. And we're also going to push this so it goes this way, right? So we're letting it do what it wants to do because it's easier than arguing with it sometimes, you know? Now, oops, is this going, oh, that's going the wrong way. Okay, there we go. There. And again, you look for that X here, and I absolutely, did I miss it? No, I hit it on right dead on perfect. Okay. The stitch ripping was there, just there to keep me humble. Okay. Well, it's good you know how to undo them, right? Okay. There now. There. Okay. So, we're going to take the center, and we're going to, because it's swirling, there's one way and then it swirls this way, so we want to break it open just like so. Just easy. And you're just going to flatten and swirl that, right? And we're going to, okay, so all of this stuff got pressed to the dark, and I missed up here because it's going the wrong way. So I'm just going to clip it, and I'm clipping it to with 1/8 of an inch of the seam, right? So that's going to lie flat. This is all going to lie flat. Yep, and oh, this one probably. Yeah, this one probably should be clipped. I'm going to clip it here, so this will lie flat. I'm going to clip it up here, and the center will lie flat, and I'm going to clip it here, but not down to the thread. You want to pull away a bit from the thread so that you're not cutting into your seam, right? It doesn't weaken the quilt. It doesn't weaken the quilt when you have a bunch of that going on. So, but that's how you fix your twisted seams. So I'm going to give this an iron, and we're going to get to our ta-da moment. Okay, so here we are with our airflight. This is our big ta-da moment. Yes, I didn't have quite enough fabric, so I put in a strip of 4 that cuts across the block. Now it looks intentional, right? You have to kind of do things sometimes, kind of sneak around and think outside the box. And if you did this with all of your blocks, or you did all scrappy blocks and you had one row that went across all of the same color, it would look very intentional and it would give you a different design. Now, this is very similar to the 4-patch and a 4-patch, this kind of idea. This is triangles and, 4-patch triangles in a triangle block. So, but when I saw this, I was like, oh, this would be so much fun to do. And you could have it all scrappy. And it's a good leader and ender, because for every 8 little ones, you make 2 big ones. And the bigger ones, you can cut out of the same piece of fabric. So I thought this was good. So I do hope you give this one a try. This was lots of fun to sew up for you today. And even though we showed you how to use our stitch ripper and how close it was at hand, because I use it quite often. So don't feel bad ever about having to use your stitch ripper. I hope life is treating you very carefully, and everything in your sewing room is going great for you. Okay, you take care until we see each other again. Okay, bye! Hello again. We just want to thank you for enjoying our video and, coming along with my husband and my YouTube adventure in quilting. And, sometimes things don't work out as best they should, and sometimes they work out great. We're going, wow, that went well. But it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so glad I could share it with you. Share, like, and subscribe these videos. That really helps us out, and it helps us make more charity quilts, okay? So you guys take care until we have a chance to meet again, okay? Bye!